Today we're going to be looking at a offense to use against a zone defense. That offense is called Orange, and it is an overload offense. So O for Orange, O for overload is the trick to remembering the call. So the overload zone offense is designed to take advantage of a mismatch on one side of the court. And that mismatch is that because it's an overload and because we're using it against a zone defense, there are going to be 4 offensive players on one side of the floor against only 3 defenders, because within a zone, players are only allowed to move so far from one side of the court to the other. So if you've got the ball on one side and 4 offensive players, most of the time there are going to be 3 or only maybe even 2 defenders who are trying to match up against those 4 offensive players. Now, the overload offense does require very good spacing and discipline from all players, which really good spacing is required in any zone offense. If players get too bunched up or get lackadaisical with their spacing, then it can get to the point where one defender can now guard multiple players in multiple passes. So it is very important in this offense that players understand the spacing and know when it's their turn to cut and where to cut where the open spaces are going to be. Now, another important part of this offense, and I'll continue to go over it through the video, but the overload is just meant to provide a backbone for the offense. But the rules, the cuts, the movements are not set in stone, because really with any offense, but especially against the zone, if a team just passes from A to B to C and just goes through the same movements over and over and never looks to create anything, it can be very easy for a defense to defend and also to then start to predict which pass is coming, which cut is coming. So if at any time during this offense a player finds a good shot opportunity or maybe a drive and pass option, they have the freedom to take it, and they should take it. So even if an animation is not shown in this video, does not mean that a player could not potentially have a shot opportunity within this offense. Now, the setup for the overload offense is a very typical setup you'll see. We have the point guard up top, we have 2 and 3 on the wings, we have 4 and 5 in the post, and it's set up against a 2-3 zone. Now, the first move in Orange, which is something that a lot of zone offenses will include, is when the ball goes from the point to one of the wings, it doesn't matter which, in this case it's going to go to 3, the opposite post is going to flash towards the elbow. So when the ball goes to 3, it'll be 5 who needs to flash towards the elbow. Now, 5 doesn't need to go all the way up to the elbow, because a lot of times when 3's got the ball on the wing, the pass from the wing into the elbow is one that a defender can get a hand on or anticipate. So instead it's up to 5 to read the defense and understand where the opening is going to be. Because even looking at the basic set of a 2-3 zone, you can see that sort of the middle of the court, around the free throw line and just below the free throw line, there is a gap in the defense. And that is the gap that 5 is looking to exploit. So we can see that as it goes to 3, 5 flashes, he's open, it goes to him for a shot if he's open. Now, 5 can also have the option to, if a defender steps up to try and guard the ball once it gets into 5, he can kick it down to 4, and 4 should be aware of this and be ready to take maybe a step towards the baseline or maybe seal his defender and put a hand up for a lob pass over. But this is, again, one of those things that might not be strictly built in to the entire flow of the offense, but it's something that if you have a mismatch, if 4 is bigger and stronger than that defender that's right above him, he can look for that post up in the lob. So you can see that if his man steps up especially, also, that pass should go immediately to 4 for a layup. So that's our first option, but this is an offense that is meant to have several movements and then wind up right back where we started so we can run it all over again. So if we go through the first animation again, we will see that ball is going to go to 3, 5 is going to flash. Now if 5 is not open or the ball can't get in there, then 4 and 5 need to screen the 2 low defenders on the ball side. So 4 needs to sort of work his way around to the outside of the bottom low defender, and 5 from the high post needs to drop down and get himself in a position to screen the middle low defender, because after 1 passes to 3 and gives maybe a half second for 5 to cut up to the elbow area, 1 is going to cut down the lane and loop around by the baseline out to the ball side corner. And so the second look within this offense is 1 coming off of the 2 screens into the corner to the ball side corner for a pass and a 3-point shot. So we can see it goes to 3, 5's not open, we get the double screen to 1 for the 3-point shot. Now this is another area where you can have different movements with the ball. For example, if 4's man were to fight through his screen and be in a position to defend 1 once he got the ball, if 4 turned around and opened himself up towards the baseline, 1 could fire a quick bounce pass, and then we've got 4 and 5 basically against that 1 low middle defender. Now let's say that 1 gets the ball into the corner but doesn't get a shot off for whatever reason. Then the next move is for 4, after he finishes his screen, especially because it's his man who's going to be fighting to get out to 1 to defend the ball, 4 is going to take a step or 2 towards the middle and again look to attack that sort of weak spot in the zone. So from 1 or from 3, the ball can go into 4 for a shot right there. Now again, if the man between 4 and 3 were to aggressively collapse on 4, it could go right back out to 3 for a 3-pointer. If the middle low defender were to step up really aggressively to guard 4, that leaves 5 open for a dump down and a layup. So there are a number of different options we can get at this point in the offense. So here we can see them both step up. It could also go back out to 1 for a 3-point look in the corner. Now the last option before we run the play through the whole way is it's gone to 1 in the corner, no shot, haven't been able to get it into 4, so it's back to 3 on the wing, and 3 is going to catch, look for 4, it's not there, he's going to pass it to 2, and as he passes to 2, 4 is going to go and fill the empty block, so we go back to having our 2 post players, and then 3 is going to cut underneath the 2 high defenders sort of towards the area just right below the free throw line. And it's almost like a give and go look where 3 is going to pass to 2. As soon as 2 catches, as the defenders are moving, if they're not ready for the ball going right back in, we can find 3 in the middle for a pass right there. And now this, again, gives us the opportunity to have some shots that might not specifically go in the flow of the offense, but can definitely be available and definitely are good shots. Because now, if 3 has the ball in the lane, whichever defender steps up opens up a passing opportunity. So if it's the middle defender, then you can see 5 and 4 are both in positions to have sealed their men for a lob pass and a layup. If either of their men steps up to try to stop 3, then they're going to be standing on the block wide open. So for there you can see middle defender, 5 gets ready with a good steal, and we can have the lob right there. So if none of these options are open, as I said before, this play is designed to reset itself to go right back to where it started. So the only movement left to have us in the same setup with the ball at the top, 2 wings and 2 posts, is that as 3 cuts through, if he doesn't get the ball, he continues across to fill one wing, and 1 rotates up from the corner to the wing to fill the other. So you can see the ball comes across, the defense is shifting, 3's not open, so then 3 and 1 both fill, and now we are reset. So we'll go through the play one more time. This is the play in its entirety, without any passes, without any shot attempts, just to see how once we run it through the whole way, it'll reset. So we have the ball to 3, comes up, double screen in the corner, 1 gets it. If there's no shot, comes back to 3, 4's in the middle, he doesn't get it, comes back to 2, 3 cuts across, 1 fills. So as we practice this play more and as we get more used to moving the ball and the screens and the cuts, this is an offense that you can run very quickly and very effectively against a zone, because at multiple points, whether it's getting the ball in the corner or getting the ball into the middle, you can create mismatches to where if a defender steps out of position to try and stop the ball, there can be looks down towards the basket, or if guards are really aggressive at trying to get the ball out of the lane, there can be kick-out opportunities for 3-point shots. So as long as players can maintain their spacing, as long as they can remember that it's okay to move within the play a little bit differently than was set in these animations, it can be very effective and very unpredictable and give a lot of different options in attacking a zone offense.